Winston Churchill made a big point of saying, during a toast, I'm not going to toast to your health. I'm not going to toast to your wealth. What I'm going to toast is that you have good luck. And then he went on to explain, he said, the people who were on the Titanic, they had pretty good health. Most of them were quite wealthy and they had great success in their life. What they didn't have was luck. And I started to think about that, and yeah, we need that. But as a therapist, I find what happens to a lot of people is that they give up their own personal power. They tend to blame life. It's like, well, I was on the Titanic or whatever. It's like there's something wrong with their lives because of something outside of themselves. So I think it's okay to think about having luck if you think of it as this is something that happens in life for me, that that life is here to benefit me, that it's not against me. And it's hard to make that shift. It really is. I totally get it. I have this bird up here singing away at me. It's wonderful. Uh, Kind of encouraging me. It's like when you can make that shift in your life and see life as happening for you rather than something that's happening to you, you take the power back. And I think probably one of the places where it happens the most is when things don't go according to plan. It's like this is the day that I had planned out. This is how it was going to work for me, and it didn't happen that way. As we do the review of the day, can you see the ways and places in which it was actually helping you, that it was there for you? 9/11 is a good example in the United States. A bunch of years ago on 9/11, there was a tragedy that happened in New York City. It didn't happen to everyone because there were people who normally would have been in the Twin Towers, but something happened. The alarm didn't go off. Somebody was just caught up. New Jersey had a lot of traffic. There were several people who were stuck in the New Jersey traffic, didn't get to work on time. There was somebody who was walking to work in a new pair of shoes. The shoes were so uncomfortable that it started to wear and tear on his feet. He stopped at a drugstore to get some bandages and some padding to just sort of put on his feet so he could walk to work. And he was late. Story after story of things that happened that at the time seemed to be an irritation, seemed to be happening against them or to them, when in fact it was a blessing for them. And if we can kind of just hold that for a while, I'm going to give you a 5-day challenge. Just try it for 5 days. Imagine that everything that happens to you, from the fact that you woke up, that's a pretty big blessing right there. And that everything else throughout the day, whatever the sequence of events are, that all of those things are there for you, that they're helping you, they're aiding you, they're blessing you. And then just review it at the end of the day and see what happens. So that's my challenge to you, and to think about it, that maybe that delay in traffic is keeping you alive. Maybe the slowness of service someplace, keeping you from having an accident 3 blocks ahead. But whatever it takes to begin to make that mindset shift, the biggest thing about mindset is that exactly in that word, our minds are set. Sometimes we need to turn them a little bit. Remember, we're talking about perspectives. We need to shift our perspective and look at it in a little different way. When we make those shifts and changes in our life, it makes all the difference in the world. That a problem becomes a possibility. That a setback is really something that's setting us up to move forward. All the little things, the little irritations, the frustrations, if you can begin to make those tiny little shifts, look at them differently, make a perspective shift, you'll see how life is actually happening for you. That's a blessing. Each one of those things is allowing you to take back control of your life. It's a blessing for you. I'm making it a challenge. I want to hear how it affects you. What difference does that make in your life? And understand that sometimes when we make those shifts, we don't always know. Like in 9/11, they arrived at work and the Twin Towers were on fire. So it's kind of obvious that this was a good thing. But sometimes the shifts and changes in our lives are a little bit more subtle. Hard to tell that this is a blessing. But in your own mind, when you translate it that way, the chance encounter with someone, the conversation with someone, all of these things that we don't necessarily plan for but happen, to make that shift in our thinking, this is not something that's happening to me, this is something that's happening for me, you take the power back. This is your life. It's an empowerment process. Try it for a week. I'm telling you, you will easily sense the difference. Whatever it is that's happening, whatever health news happens, it's like, Tom, it's like I get this terrible diagnosis. Treat it as a gift. Treat it as something that's happening to bless you. And see if you can take that little shift that Winston Churchill was talking about, and saying, hey, good luck, or good health, good wealth, and shift it to luck, that it's something that is part of your fortune, that's part of the blessing. It's there. When you make the shift, you'll come to a place of understanding how self-empowering it is, that it's really creating a life by design rather than by default, that you are in the process of creating your life, and that you really do have this incredible amount of power in changing the course and the direction of your life. You're not helpless, not a victim of circumstance. Life isn't trying to beat you up or beat you down. Make that shift in change in perception. It'll make everything different. I'm tempted to say I guarantee, but obviously we can't do that. But I can't wait to hear in the comments below the shifts and changes in your life. I know it works. I've done this with hundreds of people, and so I have a folder full of letters and comments and where this simple shift of everything is happening for me. Just need to sometimes discover it. I don't know why it's happened. I don't know why every light is red, why I'm delayed. I don't know why I missed the train. Every one of those people who experienced that on 9/11 will absolutely tell you that it was something that happened for them. I'm excited for the adventure in your life, and I can't wait to hear where the shifts and changes are for you in this. Remember to subscribe and like. And if any of these videos are helpful to you, please share them. Let's make a community of people here that are taking back their lives and finding that, yes, I can live a life by design. I can live a life by intention. I can live a life on purpose.